So over the last couple of months, I've been releasing videos imagining my perfect season 1 of the new HBO Harry Potter show, where they include every single detail of the book series that we love. But after looking at all of the leaks and rumours, and before diving into season 2, I think it's time to have a quick look at what we are actually going to get. Not the version we really want, but the one that HBO is most realistically going to deliver. I do believe there will be some good choices, but I also think there will be some choices that are going to make fans pretty nervous. From episode counts to set design, I've pieced together what I believe to be the actual approach of HBO for Harry Potter Season 1. Let's start with the biggest indicator we have, and that's the picture of Dominic McLaughlin with a clapperboard dressed as Harry in his full Hogwarts uniform during the filming of episode 1. This tells us a lot about HBO's approach, in my opinion. Now, of course, it could just be a situation where they've put him in his uniform just for the sake of taking this picture so it can create a bit of PR buzz, but I think they are clearly planning the magical reveal of Hogwarts to be at the end of episode 1. As I discussed in my vision of the show, we'd get a full episode establishing Harry's miserable life at the Dursleys, the cupboard under the stairs, the emotional abuse, all of the little details that make his Hogwarts acceptance so meaningful. But I think HBO believes most viewers just want to get to the magic. I fear that they're treating the Dursleys more like an obstacle as opposed to crucial character development. In terms of pacing, expect a whirlwind episode 1 with introduction to the Dursleys, the vanishing glass scene, the letters flying in, Hagrid's sudden arrival, the Hot on the Rock, Diagon Alley maybe only crammed into 10 or 15 minutes. It's not ideal for book purists, however it does kind of make sense from a business perspective. They want that wow factor so people are hooked instantly and want to come straight back for episode 2. Do I think it's a good idea in general? It's hard to tell. Personally, as I explained in my videos, you wouldn't see Hogwarts until episode 2, but I can kind of understand why they're doing it. Before we go on, please hit the subscribe button. It will massively help me out, and the notification bell. Season 2, my vision, is coming very, very soon, and I promise you, you're not going to want to miss it. Okay, so another piece of recent news reported that up to 600 child actors have been hired and that they are being educated on site. Let that number sink in. The movies only really had a few dozen students living permanently on the Harry Potter sets. Obviously, they had a lot more extras for big, great hall scenes, but they would have likely have just been brought in for these specific scenes. Not all of them actually permanently being on the set. This suggests that HBO is going all in to make Hogwarts seem like a real and bustling school. However, there is a problem. It is now rumoured that the first 2 seasons will now only consist of 6 episodes, and this will put a hard limit on how much of this we'll actually see. I mean, let's do the maths for a second. 6 episodes means that we're probably only going to see between 5 and 6 hours of actual content. And when you compare that to the Philosopher's Stone movie, which is 2.5 hours long, it's only really about double the amount of screen time. However, this time across an entire season. That's not nearly as much extra time as people think. Here's how I predict they will allocate it. Episode 1, rushed intro ending with the arrival at Hogwarts. Episode 2, the sorting hat, some first classes and the reveal of Fluffy. Episode 3, the Halloween troll incident. Episode 4, the Quidditch match and Christmas at Hogwarts. Episode 5, the Norbert subplot and detention in the Forbidden Forest. And episode 6, the Philosopher's Stone climax. So why would HBO shortchange their biggest new franchise? I think there's 3 main reasons. Budget, fewer episodes means less risk. Binge culture, they want the viewers craving more. And long-term planning. This ensures 7 seasons if the audience is engaged, but potentially cancelling the show if the numbers aren't too good. The biggest issue, in my opinion, is it forces them to focus only on the most iconic moments, stuff that we've already seen, and not the stuff that was missing from the books that the die-hard fans are desperately craving. That means we're definitely getting the troll in the bathroom, the first Quidditch match, and the Mirror of Erised, but probably not Harry's first full Christmas at Hogwarts, or those quiet common room bonding moments. With only 6 episodes, I sadly don't expect to see deep dives into multiple Hogwarts classes, probably only one standout potions class, one standout transfiguration class, for example. However, I do still think we'll see some other classes that we didn't see in the movies, such as astronomy, but it will be pretty brief. The real payoff will come in later seasons. If the show succeeds, expect season 3 onwards to really expand the wizarding world once the audience is hooked. Okay, that was a little bit doom and gloom, so let's have a little bit of good news. Recently, we saw leaked photos of the Dursleys, including Dudley in a very 90s shell suit. And in my opinion, these pictures confirm HBO is keeping the original book timeline. The movie's gently updated to simply mirroring the real world when the movies were released in the 2000s instead of following the 90s timeline that the book follows. Staying true to the 90s means that we might get some fun little 90s details that we didn't get to see in the movies. Chunky cars, Dudley's PlayStation obsession, and who knows, maybe even some 90s classic music. Having said that, doesn't really matter that much. I mean, the wizarding world exists in a sort of timeless bubble, or at least kind of stuck in the mid-1800s anyway. Unless they're planning on doing something pretty radical and having muggle-born kids making 90s pop culture references in the common room, this will purely just be aesthetic, especially in the Dursleys scenes, making them a little bit more interesting, bit different from the movies, and more visually appealing. Still, it's nice to see them honouring the source material in this way, especially as there are other decisions that they have made that aren't necessarily honouring the source material. Now, here's something that I find pretty interesting. Those leaked pictures of the Dursleys were taken at London Zoo for the Vanishing Glass scene, and this is the exact same location as the original snake scene from the movie. And I don't think this is a coincidence. I think that it reveals a lot, actually, about HBO's decisions on production design. I do now believe that they're going with the idea of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I expect certain locations to look identical to the movies, such as the Great Hall, and especially the exterior of Hogwarts. And they're clearly doing this with other external locations as well. I think the key difference will be the new spaces that we're going to finally see, locations from the books that we are all desperate for, such as other common rooms, new classrooms, and of course the Hogwarts kitchens, although we probably won't see them until season 4. They'll play it safe with the familiar while expanding the world in different ways in order to not scare off the casual fans and the die-hard fans. Is this the bold reimagining that some of the fans want? No, but it is smart from a business perspective. Give people the Hogwarts they recognise first, and then slowly introduce new elements. So here's my overall prediction for Season 1. It's going to be a very polished and slightly expanded version of what we already know. The visuals will be familiar but sharper, the world will feel more lived in, we'll get some new scenes and locations, but the main story will remain pretty much unchanged from what we saw in the movie. And that includes missing out some things that were left out of the book from the movie as well. I don't think it will necessarily be the grand new vision that some of the fans want, but it is probably the smartest approach to ensure the show's success. HBO needs these first couple of seasons to reassure fans that they are in good hands before they start taking more risks as seasons progress. So what do you think? Are you happy with this more conservative approach, or would you have preferred them to take more risks right from the very beginning? Let me know down in the comments, and if you want me to analyse any more specific elements of the production, drop your suggestions below as well. Once again, remember to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because next week I'm going to be diving into my vision of Harry Potter on HBO Season 2.